The Farrul Bloodline is kind of crazy, at least in my opinion. I haven't seen many people talk about it, so I wanted to highlight it here. If you don't know what I'm talking about, in the recent patch, they added a bunch of Bloodline ascendancies. Essentially, they are pseudo ascendancies that you can grab after defeating specific endgame encounters, and they take ascendancy points and they're essentially like multi-classing. Now, I found the feral one to be particularly strong for a few different reasons. So let's talk about it real quick. So it gives a lot of benefits, okay? And it's very cheap to actually maintain. I am playing a Juggernaut. All I really care about is undeniable. I care about unstoppable because T16.5 modifiers suck. And then I have unflinching for the endurance charge stuff. Now, it would be nice to have unrelenting and it would be nice to have unbreakable or something, but I'm currently using a body armor that doesn't have too much armor on it, so unbreakable wouldn't be too important. Untiring would be interesting, but pretty much there's not too many ascendancy points that help with my build. I'm playing a galvanic arrow strength stacker. I made a video about it yesterday if you want to figure it out, but essentially not many points really help me. But the Pharaoh bloodline helps me a little too much, at least in my opinion. So let's talk about the first one. So we have Hunt Leader. So Hunt Leader just summons a Spectral Tiger on critical strike. Essentially, these tigers are just buff bars. They give you 25% increased critical strike chance per and 7% attack and cast speed. Now, what's nice about that is they stack up to 5, and then they also get refresh if you crit again. This means that, if they take damage, you're just going to refresh it. And if you're playing a build like mine, where it's Barrage and Galvanic Arrow, you're critting an absolute bajillion amount of times per second. So you're keeping these up. I don't know if there's a cooldown to summoning them, but I haven't really encountered that yet. They're up, pretty much up all the time, and I haven't really seen too many issues with it overall. So Hunt Leader is pretty crazy as long as you're playing a build that is attacking fast. If you're playing a build that attacks slower, I could see like a Maven doing like a memory game and killing all your killing all your spectral tigers, and then like you have to like mad dash to resummon them if you're playing like a slam build. But I think that it's not that big of a deal. It just depends on what kind of build you're playing. If you're playing like a slam build, maybe it's a little difficult. But if you're playing a build like mine, it is literally not a problem whatsoever. Now, Ferric Will. So the way that this stuff works is raised beast specters have Feral's Ferric presence. Now, there's 3 different modifiers. I'm not going to go into them. You can go into POB and look. But the one that I have chosen today is giving me accuracy rating, crit chance, and take no damage from critical hits. Now, this doesn't seem all that much for an ascendancy point. It actually seems like a waste of an ascendancy point if you compare it directly to, like, let's say undeniable or unstoppable or unflinching or unrelenting. You must be wondering, well, that's kind of shit. Well, it turns out it's not, because it gives you a very large amount of benefits because you're allowed to run a Spectre, and the Spectre gives you a lot of benefits. And it takes a little bit of effort to get this going, but it's 100% worth it if you're playing a build that can support it. So I pulled up a text document. I did actually forgot one more thing. All right, cool. So these are the upsides of the 4 ascendancy points that I'm grabbing currently. So let's go down them together, okay? I'm getting 35% increased attack speed. Attack speed these days is kind of hard to come by, so that's good. I am an attack speed scaling ascendancy because I'm running, undeniable, but it's not that big of a deal. 125% crit chance from Pack Leader, 120% from the Turtle. That's a lot of crit. To give you an idea, a lot of people take the node inside Inquisitor that gives you crit chance per strength or intelligence, whatever one's lower, and that gives you a similar amount of critical strike chance. 80% increased accuracy rating. Now, that doesn't sound like much, but first things off, not investing into accuracy means that you're investing more into other stuff like crit, so percent accuracy rating is pretty good. I'm also a percent accuracy rating class because, I'm running undeniable, so it's giving me a very large amount of attack speed. So very good for my build specifically. 5% damage reduction, that is coming from the turtle itself. That's just one of the auras the turtle gives. A free aura of your choosing, as long as you are using determination, because the turtle gives determination. If you didn't know, it gives it a very comparable determination. It's not exactly like a level 20 determination, but who the hell is going to say no to a free determination aura, especially in these days in Path of Exile 2025, right? So that's cool. Right now, it's giving me purity of elements. So to give you an idea of the extra part of the list, it's like 35% to all elemental resistances and elemental ailment immunity. Now, you could put in haste here, you could put in damage aura, you could put in a lot of different things. But yeah. And then the last thing is crit immune. Now, this is becoming more and more and more important as GGG makes things do more and more and more damage, because things are reaching that threshold where they'll just kill you if they crit you, even a white mob, right? So having no damage from crits is amazing, which is amazing. That's just amazing. Also, as well, it provides no damage from crits for itself as well, which improves its survivability, which is really cool, I believe. Cool. So those are all the benefits. That's a lot of benefits. Now, to give you an idea of how many benefits and how much that is impactful, I have PoE opened up here, and this is my character. Right now, I'm at 14 million DPS. It's double this, right? So I'm going to pull off all of the benefits real quick, except for the aura. So I go from 4.4 million right there, number wise, to 7 million. Like just from the ascendancy alone, almost doubling my damage. And it's also, of course, giving me free determination. So like we could turn off determination real quick to show you how much armor I'd lose, and fizz PDR. So like I'd lose that much fizz PDR, and then I'd also lose another 5% fizz PDR, right? Then as well, like I said, we had the crit immune, which is hard to calculate in PoB because, like, it's weird. Now, the downsides: 5 gem sockets are required for Spectre uptime. So what I'm currently running to keep the Spectre alive, it's actually pretty simple. Pretty much, you just need a level 21 raised Spectre. You need meat shield support with 2020 because you want the quality, because minions take less damage, and then minion life support for more minion life in as well qualityed. And if you, as a additional link, if you could afford it, is minion army support, which caps its res out, or since I'm running purity of elements, it's capping his res out for me. So that's nice. The biggest requirement, in my opinion, is just simply the 2120 raised Spectre, because the 20% quality increases its res, and the level 21 gives it more base health. Cool, right? Then we also need an automation support, which you're probably already going to be running. I should probably actually quality this. I don't know if I have any GCP. I do, but we'll have to quality that later. Automation support alongside a convocation. Convocation here just simply does 2 things. First things off, it keeps the turtle near you, so you're constantly walking around. It keeps the turtle near you because he's pretty slow. But it also gives the minion 2% regen per second. That's important because your minion's going to take a lot of chip damage in general. It's just going to take chip damage. Let's be real, right? Like, especially if you're doing T16.5s, he's going to walk into something and it's going to smack him pretty hard. Now, what I've figured out is without all of this preparation and just the raised Spectre gem and minion life, he would die maybe every 3 to 4 maps. I went and upgraded it with the convocation setup, the automation. I upgraded it with meat shield as well, and the 21 gem and the 20% quality. I've done all that, and I have been doing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dangerous 16.5 maps, and he has not died once at all. I went and did T17 maps. I went and did some pinnacle fights. I went and did a Maven fight and he didn't die. I've done all these things and he has not died yet. So yeah, so he hasn't died yet, but it does take some gem sockets. It does take some gem sockets, and I believe Specifically, the turtle is the tanky one. I don't know if the tiger would survive because the tiger is expensive and I haven't tested it. Some other downsides. Perfect Guardian Turtle is right now, it's like 2.5 Divine or something like that. So it is slightly expensive to get going. Spectre gems are required and they are slightly expensive, or they are annoying to make because you need a 2120 raised Spectre gem probably. It does take 4 ascendancy points, but as I pointed out earlier, there are just some ascendancies that just don't have support for what you're trying to do. So, like a good example, Unyielding doesn't do anything for me because currently I'm getting like well over 300 to 400% increased area, and I'm also getting 1200% increased damage. Unyielding doesn't do squawk diddly shit for me, right? Unbreakable doesn't do much for me because my body armor sucks. Untiring would actually do something for me, and then Unrelenting would do something for me, right? And I am Flesh and Flaming Unstoppable because 16.5s are aids, right? Cool. And then chain maps will hurt. You do have to ignore chain maps, or or just be tanky enough and just take it, because they can chain off your turtle, they can chain off your pack leaders, like they can hit you with chain stuff. So be careful with that. And that's pretty much it for the downsides for the character. Like that's pretty much it for the downsides. Like really. Uh, One last downside. I don't know if it's really a downside or not, but sometimes you can walk outside of your turtle's aura. And if you're using your turtle for all of your defenses for some reason, if he's your only defensive layer, then you will lose the benefits. Something interesting as well that I noticed is sometimes your turtle will get absurd modifiers. So he is actually so he gets 3 rare modifiers, like rare monster modifiers. Sometimes it's like corpse deletion. Sometimes it's like so one time, a few times he's giving me discipline. Sometimes he's like giving me immunity. Sometimes he gets some ridiculous modifiers. You can see Ferric Presence here. Ferric Presence actually has a decent range, and as long as you're like standing still and doing something, that's another problem with it. Is if you're really blasting hard, right? You won't have too much uptime, but that can be fixed alongside with an enhanced gem in your convocation links, which would also, make it way quicker. You could do that, or you could just do content that requires you to stand still, like Blight or something. And then, of course, if he dies, guess what? He just comes back the next map. Or if he dies inside the map, you just leave the map and then come back in. And overall, I have found it to be really good. Farrul's Bloodline is pretty crazy, but that's going to be it for me today. With all that being said, this has been Dread. Off to go do something else. Bye.